Good evening. It's a good evening where I've decided to continue with my mathematics series videos. Remember, at this time we are on indices, and I want to exhaust that topic as much as possible. So I'll recommend that if you are watching these videos, you make sure that you watch the video from the beginning to the end to benefit from the content. Otherwise, guys, welcome to this video, which affects all the other videos because it's a video on the reference books, which you as a viewer, whether you are a student, whether you are a teacher, you can refer to. I'm not saying that you cannot be able to get these reference books by yourself, but when I put them together in a video, it is easier for you to refer. So let's look at the reference books, but before, we should get this notice, guys. So the notice is this. To my fellow viewers, the time has come. The future is here, and it is called Mathematics Made Easy. These revolutionary videos are here to change the world, and we must embrace it with all our strength and determination. I know that many of you are eager to try watching for yourselves the videos for the first time. And I'm also sure we are doing everything in our power to make that happen. I'm working tirelessly to accommodate the incredible demand for videos of this type. But what I want to remind you is that being good in mathematics is never achieved without sacrifice. And the road to the future of great mathematicians will not be without its challenges. So please, be patient. Watch the video to the end, give it a like and comment to help improve the content. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. So here are the reference books, some of the reference books on indices and logarithms. We have a book, Algebra, by Michael Artin, which is a comprehensive algebra textbook that covers indices and logarithms in a rigorous manner. Next book is Polycalculus, Mathematics for Calculus by James Stewart, Rotha Redlin, and Sharem Watson. This is a well-regarded book for precalculus that includes thorough explanations of indices and logarithms. We have a college algebra book by Michael Sullivan. This is another excellent resource for understanding the fundamentals of algebra, including detailed sections of indices and logarithms. The next book is Algebra and Trigonometry by Robert F. Brisser, a user-friendly book that explains indices and logarithms with plenty of examples and practice problems. Next, we have the famous Zoom series, and the book is titled Zoom's Outline of College Algebra by Mule R. Spiegel and Robert E. Moyer. Guys, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing the ones properly, but anyway, they are there in the videos. So this Zoom series, this outlines provides clear and concise explanations along with numerous practice problems. We have Principles of Mathematical Analysis by Walter Rudin. While more advanced, this book offers deep insights into mathematical analysis, including the concepts underlying indices and logarithms. Continuation, we have Understanding Logarithms by Eric T. Bell. This is a focused exploration on logarithms, suitable for those wanting a deeper understanding of the topic. Basic Algebra by Anthony W. Knapp covers fundamental algebraic concepts with clarity, including indices and logarithms. The Art of Problem Solving, Volume 1, Basics by Sander Lehoczky and Richard Lusaksky. Hey, pronunciation, my friend. Richard Laskik. I don't know whether I'm saying it, but guys, you can see it in the video. Tell me whether I'm pronouncing the word properly. So this book by Sander Lehoczky is excellent for students preparing for maths competitions, and it covers indices and logarithms among other topics. Then we have Mathematics, Its Content, Methods, and Meaning by A.D. Alexandrov, A.N. Komogorov, and M.A. Lavrent. You can see those ones clearly in the video, guys. So even if you go to a public library, you can find these books very easily. So we have a classic, that book is a classic reference providing deep dive into many mathematical concepts, including logarithms and indices. So after those international books, guys, I've decided we can have an interlude. So the Kenyan reference books on indices and logarithms, we have the KLB series, which is written by the Kenya Literature Bureau. So we have Secondary Mathematics Form 1. This book introduces basic mathematical concepts, including indices, which form the foundation for understanding logarithms. And I know this book has been written by my colleagues whom we were in college, and I know they were good. I've also seen the book myself, I've used it, and every time the book is being revised and polished. So that's a good book in case you are in Kenya. We have the other book, Secondary Mathematics Form 2, still by KLB, Kenya Literature Bureau, and it continues from Form 1, delving deeper into indices and starting the introduction to logarithms. Then, in this series of Kenya Literature Bureau, the books we normally call KLB, we have Secondary Mathematics Form 3, and this one covers advanced topics in indices and provides a comprehensive understanding of logarithms. We have Secondary Mathematics Form 4, KLB, completes the high school mathematics curriculum in Kenya with detailed sections on both indices and logarithms, including their applications. Then we have a KCSE. KCSE means Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education Revision Mathematics by still the Kenya Literature Bureau, or KLB, and this one is a revision guide specifically designed for students preparing for Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education exams, including chapters on indices and logarithms. Finally, in Kenya, we have another book by V.T. Jogona, Mathematics Simplified, a textbook for secondary schools. This is a user-friendly textbook that breaks down complex mathematical concepts, including indices and logarithms, into simpler terms. Continue with the Kenya reference books. We have now, apart from the Zoom series and the Jogona book, we have Understanding Mathematics, a comprehensive guide for Form 1 to 4 by P.N. Mutunga and A.S. Are. This guide covers the entire high school mathematics syllabus with clear explanations and examples of indices and logarithms. The next is Focus on Mathematics series by M.W. Wanyoike and P.N. Dhuo, a series of books for different forms that provide detailed explanations and practice problems on indices and logarithms. We have another one, New General Mathematics for East Africa by A. Mule, B. Mula, and J. N. M. Mwangi. This book is widely used across East Africa, and it offers a thorough understanding of mathematical concepts, including indices and logarithms. Next is KCSE Made Familiar by R. Odido, a revision book that helps students prepare for KCSE exams with sections dedicated to indices and logarithms. So, that is the farthest we can go with the reference books, guys. So let me stretch my legs a bit, guys, because now the next thing I would like to maybe bring now to your attention is that when you pick these books, I've also decided to research using what we call the Chat GPT And I've managed to get the specific chapters and sections of a few selected reference books. And therefore, guys, here we go. Let's see these selected reference books. I just selected a few. Okay. So I selected Basic Algebra by Anthony W. Knapp. So in that book, you find in chapter 1, you have the integers. And in that chapter 1, section 1.4, you get the exponents and radicals. Introduction to the basic properties and operations involving exponents and radicals. Chapter 5 of that book, you have the polynomials, where section 5.1 is polynomial functions, and it explores polynomial functions including operations with exponents. Remember, exponents is another name for indices, all right? And then chapter 6 of that book by Anthony W. Knapp is rotational functions. Chapter 6, rotational functions. Section 6.4, logarithms, which is a detailed exploration of logarithms, including their properties and applications. So if you get that book, you know the sections now. The next one, which I selected to give the section, is Zoom Outline of College Algebra by Mule RSPGL and Robert E. Moyer. So in that book, or in that Zoom series, chapter 4, you have exponents and radicals, and in section 4.1, you have rows of exponents. Detailed explanation of laws governing exponents. Guys, that sound was for the meter. The token is asking for more money to be earned. Electricity token is making that funny sound. So let's all go on, guys. So we are in Zoom series. Section 4.2 is radical expressions. It discusses the manipulation and simplification of radical expressions, which is essential for understanding higher level applications of exponents. Then we have chapter 5, logarithms, where in section 5.1 you have definition of logarithms, introduction to logarithms, their definitions and basic properties. Section 5.2 is laws of logarithms, covers the fundamental properties and rules of logarithms. Section 5.3 is common logarithms and natural logarithms. It differentiates between common and natural logarithms and their specific uses. Some of these topics, if you are high school students, you have just to select the ones which are relevant to you, because the book is not only for high school, it is also used in the university, those who are doing mathematics. Section 5.4 of the Zoom series, again, you have exponential and logarithmic equations, techniques for solving equations involving indices or exponents and logarithms. The next book I chose was Algebra and Trigonometry by Robert F. Britzer. Polynomial and rotational function is found in chapter 3, and in section 3.4, you have properties of exponents, an in-depth coverage of exponent rules and their applications. Chapter 4 exponential and logarithmic functions, you have section 4.1, exponential functions, definition and properties of exponential functions. Section 4.2, you have logarithmic functions, introduction to logarithmic functions and their properties. Section 4.3, properties of logarithms, detailed discussion on the properties and rules of logarithms. Section 4.5, exponential and logarithmic equations, methods for solving equations involving exponential and logarithmic functions. And finally, section 4.5, you have the exponential growth and decay, practical applications of exponential and logarithmic functions in real-world scenario. Then now we come to the Kenyan reference books. Here, in Form 1 book, Secondary Mathematics Form 1, you find indices or exponents in Chapter 2, where you have factors and multiples. And in Section 2.4 there, we have Introduction to Exponents, basic introduction to the concept of exponents or indices. And Chapter 6, you have real numbers. And in Section 6.3, you have exponents, which are more detailed discussion on the properties of the rules of indices. In Form 2, Secondary Mathematics, you have Chapter 1 dealing with indices and logarithms. Section 1.1 is laws of indices, where we cover them comprehensively. Section 1.2 is Introduction to Logarithms, basic introduction to the logarithms and their relationships with indices. And Section 1.3 is laws of logarithms, detailed discussion on the properties and the rules of logarithm. Secondary Form 4, we have further logarithms in Section 2.1, exponential and logarithmic functions and detailed exploration of exponential and logarithmic functions. Section 2.2, we have solving exponential and logarithmic equations, techniques for solving equations involving exponents and logarithms. And then Section 2.3, we have application of logarithms, which is practical application of logarithms in various contexts. Then I selected one of the books which is not KROB series, and the one I selected was Mathematics Simplified, a textbook for secondary schools by V.T. Jogona. In Chapter 4, it covers indices and logarithms. And in Section 4.1, you have understanding of indices. In Section 4.2, you have laws of indices. In Section 4.3, you have Introduction to Logarithms. Section 4.4, you have laws of logarithms. And Section 4.5, you have solving logarithmic equations. A very good approach. So, I just do the acknowledgement and tell you that this is truly a team effort to come with what we have done. There are too many people who inspired me to come up to produce this video, and I thank them with all my heart. I would also not forget to thank my family members for their support, encouragement, patience, and tolerance during my long hours of typing the contents of this video in Microsoft PowerPoint 2010. I'm also grateful to ChatGPT for assisting me to polish my videos, because I was always referring where I got stuck. Then I've also tried, I've also made an effort, if there are any copyright holders whom I have not contacted, I will be pleased to make the necessary arrangement at the earliest opportunity. So, this video may not be reproduced in any form whatsoever, but it can be used for educational purposes only by order of the creator.